Welcome to the UEFA Champions League Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the west coast of the U.S., Josh Lander, joined by my mate Dan Tracy out there across the pond. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, very good, thank you. The Champions League is in full swing. A good week in terms of results last week. Tottenham didn't do too well for me personally, but from a betting perspective, Benfica 2-0 win like we spoke on last week's show, plus 700 in the bank, so we're up. We're firing. Let's go again.
That's what we're here to do. You can make up with your feelings, like we say, with the winnings from that beautiful win, but a 2-0 score that you called exactly right. For today, we are going to be talking about the games on February the 21st, a really big clash that we have here, former finals matchup in Liverpool and Real Madrid, followed by our other game as well on the same day where Napoli will be taking on Frankfurt. So I do want to make sure that you guys know to like and subscribe to the page there so we can catch every single UEFA Champions League game that we are bringing you this round of 16 and forward. Dan also has all of his great articles up on thelines.com, so you can check out everything we're talking about here and more. Follow along with his bets that he's been staying hot for us on since the World Cup on thelines.com. So Dan, let's jump into the first game and the highlight match maybe of the round of 16. Despite how Liverpool might be faring in the Premier League, it's still a big game when they come in and play Real Madrid, and despite the fact that they haven't been able to procure a win versus Real Madrid in quite some time, but they currently sit at plus 140 on the money line in this game, and Real is at plus 185 because this game is in Anfield. A draw is plus 255 in this one as well. Right now, to advance, Liverpool's even money and Real Madrid is minus 130. So kick us off with where you start in terms of finding value in this match.
Okay then, I mean, with it being such a tight affair, or it looks like it's going to be a tight affair, both teams at plus odds to win. You could go either way, but I'm tempted by Real Madrid for the simple reason that you can never really write off Real Madrid, or you should never write off Real Madrid, because last season they had to get through PSG, they had to get through Chelsea, Manchester City and Liverpool in the knockout phase of the competition to win it. And at many stages during those four matches, people thought they can't do it again, and they did it again and again and again. So when you couple that with Liverpool's indifferent form in the Premier League, yes, they could find another level in the Champions League. They kind of need to find a different level in the Champions League compared to what they're offering at the moment. But I just feel that if you were to look at a Real Madrid win and over 2.5 goals in total, that gets you started at plus 310. I think, if you're looking at both teams' score angle, I think this is going to be perfect ground for that. And that's why I'm pumping for a few goals, not loads, but I think 3 in total will keep us busy enough, and Real Madrid win to go with it.
Interesting. I think that is a pretty good thought, is the over 2.5. It's minus 155 just to get the over 2.5 goals. So if you do feel that Real Madrid's in a position to extend its streak here, then yeah, I think that, you add them no matter what, because I think you just want to juice up the 2.5 goals. Is there a world in which Liverpool pulls this one off? And I ask, obviously, they're in England in this one, so they really, really need to pull that off before they go play in a place that's going to be pretty hostile and tough to win in Madrid. But they do have a number of players coming back, I will say, and that's obviously been the best excuse they can come up with this season is injuries for Liverpool. As they're getting back the likes of obviously captain in Virgil van Dijk, Diego Jota, and then Luis Diaz as well. A couple of names that are coming back for some guys that at least will make them the formidable team they should be on paper. So is there a world where they do win? Is there any other bet that you like with the over 2.5, or do you feel confident in Real being able to pull this one out?
Well, I mean, there's always a chance with Liverpool. As I say, it's not Real Madrid being the favourites by any stretch of the imagination. The bookies are pricing Liverpool as the favourites to win, but I just don't see that when you combine it with over 2.5 goals. There is another way, though, that Liverpool could win this match. We can still get a winning bet. That being, if there's any combination of the match ending in a 1-goal win for either team. So if we look at it first from a Real Madrid and over 2.5, they've either got to win 3-0 to tick off the first bet, or a 2-1 win looks more logical. However, Liverpool could do the same, and we win the second bet at plus 135. They could even squeak a 1-0 win and do the same. So I'm not putting all my eggs into the Real Madrid basket. There is scope for Liverpool, but I think if Liverpool are to win it, it's going to be a lot tighter. So that's why I've kind of stepped back a little bit and also gone for this just either way. As long as it's a winning margin of 1 goal, we're okay. I mean, if it's over 2.5 goals and Real Madrid win and they win 3-0, I think Jurgen Klopp's in big trouble. But I don't see it being that emphatic either way. So that's why I think there is an angle for Liverpool, but I wouldn't be picking Liverpool on their own to win, because I feel that has too much risk. So that's why I'm going to sort of step back and sort of say, okay, I'm going to split the difference and say there's going to be a winner just by a goal. And if that comes in, plus 135.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, I really what we want to see here is Madrid up, 2-1 with roughly, let's say, 15, 20 minutes left in the match, because then we can start doing some fun things with some live betting as well if we wanted, right? Once we see that, now we know Liverpool needs a goal at that point, because I don't think they feel confident in their ability to win away from home in this series. So if they're down 2-1 and they're scrambling for a goal, maybe there's some live odds that we can get them to maybe even hedge a little bit, bet on them to score a goal in that time with some really nice odds, and then you're hedging your bet that you're currently at with that plus 310 with Real Madrid to win and the over 2.5, plus you get the plus 135 on the match won by 1 goal. If all that goes to shit because Liverpool scores a goal in the last 20 minutes, maybe sprinkle a little bit on the hedge that they do score that goal with some really nice odds, and then you can at least make sure that you're in the money. But that's obviously once you're able to play with house odds, because our bets are looking so good, right? But let's move on to the second game of that day that we're looking at here in terms of Napoli and Frankfurt. And look, Napoli is quite impressive right now at moving forward. They're going to win Serie A. I think we can feel pretty confident about that, up by double digits that they have in the points column there. And they're taking on a Frankfurt team that, I mean, they won the Europa for what it's worth. It's not the Champions League, but they do have a formidable team, a good young team, really. And this is a game that I think they'll be excited to win in front of their home fans. They are plus 220 on the money line, so pretty big underdogs at home. And then the draw plus 255. Napoli still with plus odds to pull this one out at plus 120. It seems like there's a little bit more juice, obviously, there on Frankfurt in a situation that maybe you like them at home. But where do you start to look for value in this one?
I just think Napoli at plus 120 is great value, because they are the most feared team in Italy. They are quickly becoming one of the most feared teams across Europe. You look at the group stage, they won their first 5 matches. Admittedly, they took their foot off the accelerator pedal in the last game, which was a dead rubber, and lost to Liverpool. So although there was a small blemish, I don't think we can read too much into it, but they've been absolutely a class apart. They scored 20 goals in 6 Champions League group stage matches. That's 3.3 on average per game. They are a team to be feared. They've got Victor Osimhen up front. They've got the Georgian forward. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but you know the one I mean. So they've got plenty of options, and I just feel that Eintracht Frankfurt, yes, they finished second in their group. It was not the toughest group, but we shouldn't undermine their quality of winning the Europa League and getting to this stage. Their European adventure seems to just keep going and going over the last couple of seasons. So they're going to be a test for Napoli, but I just feel that if Napoli were, say, minus 120, I wouldn't be interested. I think that's actually sort of going with the logic. But the fact that, for me, the bookies have offered me plus odds, it's not the boldest bet, but why not take it? Why go to Eintracht Frankfurt plus 210? I just don't really see it happening. They're on the fringes of the top 4 race in Germany. They're not really kind of hitting the stride of the likes of Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, that we'll get to in a moment. So, yeah, I just feel that why not? Sometimes we kind of overcomplicate things, and this time I'm just going to keep it simple for starters and go Napoli plus 120.
I'm gonna overcomplicate things just a little bit for you, and it's not even overcomplicating. What I want to bring up is just to keep everybody level-headed and grounded. Why is it plus 120 perhaps? And this is the overanalyzation. Napoli's just much better at home. I mean, that's for one. And I do think there's a little bit of use case that you can look at when it comes to Frankfurt playing bigger teams. They have drawn with Bayern 1-1. And they also drawn with your boys there, Tottenham as well, just in this season. And so it does seem as though the young guys on their squad, tough in the middle of the field, they don't seem to shy away from certain big games that they've been a part of this year so far. So that might be what they're the bookies are hoping for, is that you go ahead and feel confident that you have a team that's much better and you still get plus odds for them to win. In reality, and you're not getting much. The minus 175 with the draw no bet doesn't really help you out much. It doesn't do much for you, I imagine, as well. We like odds on this show. So I think that's the only trap that you might walk into, but I'm not feeling that confident in betting either way on it. I don't even really want the odds that you get for them to pull out a win. The draw is the only thing that might tickle my fancy at plus 255, just in the event that Frankfurt is able to come strong, and that does enact them to be able to do that. Maybe there's a world where I bet a little bit on both and still come out with some plus odds, hopefully in those scenarios. But with the confidence that you have in Napoli to be able to pull this out, are there some other ways to, I guess, juice up their win that you feel is pending?
Absolutely. So if you don't share my logic for the first one, I might be doomed for the second. However, I'm going to try and sell it anyway. So if I'm backing Napoli to win after 90 minutes, I'm also backing them to win after 45 minutes, which, again, would offer more in some sort of odds, but I'm going to add an extra level to that. I'm saying Napoli to win at half-time and over 1.5 total goals, and this one comes in at plus 475. And I think this is real good value because we could look at it from a 90-minute picture, and Napoli could go 2-0 up at half-time. They could draw 2-2. I don't care. I'd care a little bit because my first bet would lose, but it would be absorbed much bigger by the second bet. So this offers me, a far wider range of possibilities in the second half, where whatever happens in the second half is almost irrelevant to what happens in the first. So as long as Napoli are winning after 45 minutes and 2 goals go in, we're celebrating, and we can just sort of kick back and watch the second half of the match and just relax, really. So I feel that it's we're not going all in on Napoli. This offers me a bit more insurance, but also offers a great bit of value at the same time. So this is my second angle.
So just to be clear, Napoli needs to be leading at halftime.
Yep.
And there needs to be 1.5 goals scored in the game.
Yeah, so either team. Good. So Napoli don't have to be 2-0 up themselves. It could be, well, it can't be 1-0, but it could be, 2-0 to Napoli would be ideal. But if it was 2-1, again, that's a winner. But more importantly, if it's 2-1 at half-time and Frankfurt get a late equaliser, it might ruin the first bet.
Right.
My plus 475 is already banked, and that's that's absolutely fine.
With it. Yeah, with it. I mean, like you said, this team is rearing to attack, and the goals are coming aplenty. I don't think that they'll be shy in Frankfurt as well to be on point, and they have good reason to be. They're playing with a ton of confidence and putting a lot of fear, as you said, in teams across Europe right now. So big things to come, hopefully, for them. And if you believe in Napoli as much as Dan, then there's definitely some money to be made in this match. So that's all the time that we have in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Like we said, also have the February 22nd matches with some fun ones in there to talk about. So until we see you next, happy betting.